Today, we'll be talking about Juan Francisco Estrada versus Roman Gonzalez. First, we're going to be talking about stats, then we'll get into game plan, and then we'll have prediction at the end. So let's get right into the video. All right, looking at these guys side by side, Roman Gonzalez is a little bit older, he's a little bit shorter, and has a little bit less reach. Looking at their wins and KO percentages, a couple things to note here. Obviously, Roman Gonzalez has more KOs and more wins, but he has been stopped and Estrada never has been. So let's talk now about game plan. First, we'll start with Chocolatito. And with Roman Gonzalez, obviously his game plan for most of his fight is to utilize pressure, but the way he goes about doing that, to me, I think is what makes him special. That lead left hand of his, he loves to throw body shots as well as uppercuts from basically the same position, constantly making his opponent having to guess which way he should, have his guard. Should it be up? Should it be down? And then you add in, just when you think you've got it kind of figured out, he throws a monster left hand behind it, your guard, and then sets up that big right hand that is just a heat-seeking missile. So then when he does all of that, he then includes footwork that constantly shifts. You see him shift, especially when you get that high guard, he will shift to your left side and dig to the body. And just when you adjust your stance to kind of keep him in front of you, he'll shift back to the right and throw a big uppercut. I love seeing that kind of shifting of position, changing angles, and making his opponents guess. Add in the pressure and the volume that come from him, and he is just someone that breaks people down, and opponents melt in front of him because of that. So that's what he's going to do. That's kind of what he did last time. He got Estrada up against the ropes and in the corner, basically asserted his dominance as the bigger fighter at that time. So now let's look at Estrada and what he should do and game plan for him. For Estrada, back then, this is 7 years ago, it was down 2 weight classes. He was a much smaller framed guy, but now he is much bigger. He's grown into his size a little bit better, and I think that will be a big part of this fight for him. But game plan wise, I want to see what he did basically against Beeman. If you haven't seen the Beeman fight, I'll basically tell you what Estrada did that I thought was really smart of him and what I think he can use for this fight. With Beeman being someone that is a pressure fighter like Chocolatito, I loved seeing Estrada basically utilize going backwards and setting traps. He would take these big steps back, Beeman would come in, and right when the timing was perfect, you'd see Estrada throw this beautiful check left hook that was super accurate, had a lot of snap, and just would catch Beeman off guard. If he wasn't doing that, sometimes he'd just throw a straight jab down the middle and set up a right hand right afterwards. He was constantly catching Beeman coming and going. Add on top of that, when Beeman would put in a lot of pressure and get him against the ropes, you saw the head movement, you saw just shifting, constantly able to get off the ropes. Estrada certainly has gotten a lot better at that, especially considering from their first Chocolatito fight. So I think that will be a big part of this fight for him. If he's able to set traps and counterpunch and then move and then utilize a little bit of reach to set up that jab to then have that big right hand come in, he will definitely control the distance. And if he does that, I think he could win this fight. So now let's get into prediction time, what I think. Guys, this fight right now is one of the biggest fights of the year. Obviously, we have the Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor fight, which is going to be huge. But this one right now, to me, is very special. I'm super excited for this fight. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm a little bit biased. Chocolatito was a fighter that got me back into boxing. I remember the Fuentes knockout, and that just kind of got me back into watching boxing. So I have a little soft spot for Chocolatito. But that said, I really think I'm going to go with Estrada on this by decision. I think after kind of seeing, Estrada change up, grow into his body a little bit more, his size a little bit more, as well as just seeing how he deals now with pressure and being able to get off the ropes, I don't think Chocolatito will be able to bully him the same way he did 7 years ago. And I think he has the hand speed, skills, and the footwork now to take on Chocolatito. So in the end, I'm kind of bummed, but it is what it is. And I think Estrada will win by decision. That's my prediction. Let me know yours down in the comments below. And with that said, we'll talk to you later. Thanks.